Deep beneath the icy surfaces of the Antarctic and Arctic oceans lies a chilling natural phenomenon known as the Brinicle, often referred to as the finger of death.
Deep beneath the ocean's surface, where the darkness swallows even the brightest lights, underwater drones made some eerie discoveries. Buried in thick mud near the Nile, they uncovered remnants of lost Egyptian civilizations, sunken relics frozen in time, and unexplainable anomalies that defy logic. These aren't just ordinary findings.
It's a plane!
They are disturbing revelations that sent shockwaves through the scientific community. What exactly did these drones capture that has the world on edge? Join us as we explore these terrifying finds. Jacob's Well. Hidden in the Texas Hill Country is Jacob's Well, a natural spring that looks calm and inviting, but hides a dangerous secret. Beneath its clear surface lies a deep underwater cave system that has taken lives. Discovered in the 1800s, settlers named it Jacob's Well because of its beauty and importance, comparing it to the biblical well. Back then, its waters shot up 5 feet into the air, powered by the Trinity Aquifer. Over the years, the flow slowed, but the well still feeds Cypress Creek and the Blanco River, making it an important landmark. What makes Jacob's Well risky is its depth and maze-like caves. The well goes down over 100 feet, with tunnels stretching nearly a mile. Some are so tight that divers must remove their tanks to fit through. These dark, winding passageways can confuse even the most experienced divers. Tragically, at least 12 people have lost their lives trying to explore its depths. Even above the surface, the well is dangerous. The rocks around it are slippery, and some people dive straight into the narrow opening, sometimes attempting flips. Because of its risks, the Hays County Parks Department now manages the site. Swimming is allowed during specific hours, but only with a reservation. Jacob's Well is stunning, but also a reminder of nature's unpredictable power. It's a place that requires caution and respect for those who visit. While Jacob's Well continues to guard its underwater secrets, another mysterious discovery has caught the world's attention. Viral underwater plane photo. A striking photo that spread across social media in 2024 showed something straight out of our worst fears. What appeared to be a commercial airplane wreck resting on the ocean floor, surrounded by what looked like bodies scattered around the crash site. The haunting image quickly grabbed millions of views and shares, sparking heated debates about its authenticity. The photo showed the distinct shape of an aircraft fuselage, partially buried in sand, with debris spread across the sea floor. The clear water and natural lighting made every detail visible, from the plane's broken wings to what seemed to be personal belongings strewn about. This clarity is what made the image so powerful and suspicious to many viewers. As discussions grew online, connections were made to an upcoming underwater thriller film called No Way Up, released in 2024. The movie follows survivors trapped in a commercial airliner that crashes into the Pacific Ocean and sinks to the sea floor. The remarkable similarity between the viral photo and the film's premise led many to question whether this was actually a clever marketing campaign. Aviation experts who studied the image pointed out several details that suggested it was staged, including the arrangement of debris and the condition of the aircraft. Real underwater plane wreckage typically shows different patterns of deterioration due to ocean currents and marine life activity. This viral sensation showed how underwater photography, whether real or staged, can captivate people's attention and spark important conversations about aviation safety and the mysteries that lie beneath the ocean's surface. Speaking of fascinating ocean wonders, let's dive into a sea that has no borders but holds endless surprises. The Sargasso Sea. Deep in the Atlantic Ocean is a sea unlike any other, the Sargasso Sea. It doesn't have beaches or borders made of land like other seas. Instead, its edges are shaped by ocean currents, like the Gulf Stream on one side and the Canary Current on another. What makes the Sargasso Sea so unique is the golden-brown seaweed called sargassum that floats on its surface. Most seaweed needs to stick to rocks or the ocean floor to grow, but sargassum is different. It floats freely, thanks to tiny, berry-like bubbles that keep it above water. These floating mats of seaweed stretch for miles, forming a kind of forest on the sea. This floating forest is full of life. Baby sea turtles hide in the seaweed, using it for food and protection as they grow. Tiny creatures like crabs and fish live in the tangled patches, finding shelter and safety there. Even larger animals like eels and marlins rely on the Sargasso Sea for breeding. Migrating whales, tuna, and seabirds also stop here on their long journeys across the ocean. The Sargasso Sea isn't just fascinating because of what's on the surface. Beneath the seaweed, the water is incredibly deep, up to 23,000 feet in some places. While much of the deeper waters are quiet and barren, the floating seaweed supports a thriving ecosystem. Sailors have known about the Sargasso Sea for centuries. Christopher Columbus even wrote about it during his first trip to the Americas in 1492. Back then, some sailors were afraid they'd get stuck in the seaweed, but that was just a myth. Today, the Sargasso Sea is still a wonder, showing us how life can thrive in even the most unusual places. Now let's dive into the icy depths of Antarctica. The ice finger of death. Deep under the icy waters of Antarctica, something amazing and deadly happens. Scientists call it a brinicle, but many know it by its chilling nickname, the ice finger of death. It starts with freezing cold, salty water, called brine, dripping down from the sea ice above. Since the brine is heavier than regular seawater, it sinks to the bottom in a slow, steady stream. As this freezing water flows downward, it freezes everything it touches. Over time, it forms a long, hollow tube of ice that stretches from the surface all the way to the sea floor, like a giant glowing icicle. When it finally reaches the bottom, the brinicle spreads out into a sheet of ice called anchor ice, and this is where things get dangerous. The icy sheet grows quickly, trapping anything in its path. Starfish, sea urchins, and other slow-moving creatures become frozen in place. It's like nature's icy trap, catching them mid-movement and leaving them stuck forever. Scientists first discovered brinicles in the 1960s, but it wasn't until 2011 that they captured the phenomenon on film. Even today, brinicles remain a mystery, reminding us how powerful and unpredictable the ocean can be. The ice finger of death is a strange and beautiful force that shows how incredible and harsh nature really is. The Mariana Trench. Deep in the Pacific Ocean, not far from the Mariana Islands, there's a place so mysterious and unexplored that it feels otherworldly. It's called the Mariana Trench, the deepest part of Earth's oceans. This trench is massive, over 1,500 miles long and 43 miles wide, but its greatest claim to fame is Challenger Deep, the deepest spot plunging more than 36,000 feet. To put that in perspective, it's deeper than Mount Everest is tall. Exploring the trench is incredibly hard. The water pressure is so intense that it could crush most machines. Despite this, some incredible creatures call it home. There are snailfish with soft, squishy bodies that survive under the crushing pressure. Other creatures glow in the dark or have translucent bodies to help them survive in total darkness. Even more surprising, tiny crustaceans called Hirondellea gigas feed on wood that sinks from the ocean's surface, proving life can adapt in ways we're just beginning to understand. Humans have dared to explore this extreme environment. In 1960, Jacques Piccard and Don Walsh became the first to reach Challenger Deep in a special submarine called the Trieste. Then, in 2012, filmmaker James Cameron dove solo in the deep-sea Challenger, bringing back incredible footage of this underwater world. The Mariana Trench isn't just a giant hole in the ocean. It's a mysterious frontier filled with life, secrets, and lessons about how connected we all are to our planet. But while the Mariana Trench holds the title for the deepest point on Earth, the Indian Ocean recently revealed a creature just as mysterious: the squid-jelly hybrid. In 2022, deep in the Indian Ocean, near Africa's eastern coast, scientists made a discovery that left them amazed and full of questions. While exploring with an underwater drone, they spotted a creature that seemed straight out of a science fiction story. This strange being, called the squid-jelly hybrid, was unlike anything anyone had ever seen before. Its body was shaped like a glowing, see-through bell that pulsed gently with light. Scientists call this glow bioluminescence, a special feature that helps some deep-sea animals find their way or communicate in the total darkness. Hanging below its glowing body were long, eerie tentacles that drifted smoothly, yet moved with focus and precision. It looked like a jellyfish at first, but its movements showed the cleverness and control of a squid. Researchers found this bizarre creature while using drones to explore deep underwater canyons. As the drone traveled through the dark, cold waters, its camera picked up the squid-jelly hybrid floating peacefully, its glow flickering softly as if sending a secret message. What made the creature even more fascinating was how it hunted. It spread its tentacles wide, like a net, to catch its prey, pulling them in silently and with great accuracy. This ghost-like hunting style showed just how perfectly it was built for survival in the harsh, mysterious depths of the ocean. Scientists think this might be a brand new species, one that evolved to live in the crushing pressure and icy cold of the deep sea. The squid-jelly hybrid reminds us just how little we know about our oceans and the amazing life forms hidden there, waiting to be discovered. Just when scientists thought they'd seen it all, another incredible creature showed up: the ghost shark. Far below the ocean's surface, where it's cold, dark, and silent, lives a strange and spooky creature called the ghost shark. Even though it has shark in its name, it's not a regular shark. It's actually a distant relative of sharks and rays, and scientists also call it a chimera. This creature has been around for hundreds of millions of years, long before the dinosaurs. The ghost shark got its eerie name because of how it looks. Its skin is pale and almost see-through, giving it a ghostly glow. It also has big, empty-looking eyes and strange, stitch-like lines running along its head and body. Those lines aren't just for decoration. They help the ghost shark sense movement and vibrations in the water. This makes it a skilled hunter in the pitch-black depths, where it feeds on small fish and crustaceans. What really makes this creature unique are its unusual features. It has wing-like fins that let it glide gracefully along the ocean floor. And here's the strangest part. It has a retractable sex organ on its head. That might sound like something from a science fiction movie, but it's just one of the many ways this creature stands out. The ghost shark lives in the deepest parts of the ocean, sometimes as far down as 8,500 feet. Because of this, it's rarely seen. It was only captured on camera for the first time in 2016 by researchers using an underwater drone near California and Hawaii. Even though ghost sharks are hard to find, they sometimes end up in fishing nets by accident. Unfortunately, they are occasionally caught on purpose for their liver. Still, these rare creatures remind us how much we still don't know about the deep ocean and its incredible secrets. The Bermuda Triangle. The Bermuda Triangle is a section of the Atlantic Ocean with a spooky reputation. It forms a triangle between three places: Miami, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico. Over the years, people have told stories of ships and planes vanishing there, leaving behind more questions than answers. One of the most famous mysteries is about Flight 19, which happened in 1945. It was a training mission with 5 United States Navy bombers. The plan was easy: fly east, turn north, then head back to Florida. But something strange happened. The pilots radioed that their compasses were spinning and that they couldn't figure out where they were. Their last messages were jumbled and confused, and then silence. The planes never made it back, and no wreckage was ever found. Another mystery involves the USS Cyclops, a giant Navy ship that disappeared in 1918. It had more than 300 people on board. The ship didn't send out any distress signals, and not a single piece of it had ever been discovered. So, what's going on in the Bermuda Triangle? Some scientists think it's nothing magical, just dangerous weather, powerful ocean currents, or shallow reefs that ships may crash into. Others point out that the area has magnetic anomalies, where compasses sometimes act strangely, making it easy for navigators to get lost. Today, with modern technology and better navigation tools, traveling through the Bermuda Triangle is much safer. But the stories about these disappearances still spark curiosity. From lost planes to underwater ruins that look like ancient cities, the Bermuda Triangle remains one of the ocean's biggest mysteries, reminding us how much there is still to discover beneath the waves, like a golden orb that has left scientists scratching their heads. The Golden Orb. Deep in the cold, dark waters of the Gulf of Alaska, something incredible was discovered, something no one had ever seen before. Scientists on a research ship were using underwater drones to explore nearly 2 miles below the ocean's surface when they came across a strange object lying on an underwater mountain. It looked like a shiny golden orb, glowing faintly in the darkness. The orb wasn't very big, about the size of a small orange. Its smooth golden surface made it stand out against the ocean floor, and it immediately grabbed everyone's attention. What was it? Could it be an egg from some deep-sea creature, a relic from an ancient time, or something even more mysterious? The team carefully used the drones to pick up the orb and bring it to the surface. Once on the ship, they studied it closely, but instead of answers, they found even more questions. The orb didn't seem to match anything scientists had seen before. It wasn't fully metallic, and it wasn't fully organic either. Under a microscope, they noticed that it might be biological, meaning it could have once been alive. Some scientists believe it could be the shell of a creature we've never discovered before, or even an egg case that might still be hiding something inside. What made things even stranger was a small hole at the bottom of the orb. Did something hatch out of it? Or is something still waiting to come out? Right now, scientists don't have the tools on their ship to figure out exactly what the orb is. They'll need to bring it to a lab where experts can use better equipment to study it. While they tried to figure out what it was, another underwater mystery continued to amaze researchers in Cuba. The Cuban underwater city. In 2001, a team of marine engineers searching the ocean floor near Cuba made an incredible discovery. Using special sonar equipment, they spotted huge shapes lying over 2,000 feet underwater. These shapes looked like pyramids, roads, and even the remains of buildings. The site covered an area as big as several football fields, and the structures seemed to be made of smooth stone blocks. Some of the stones were so perfectly shaped that it seemed like they were carved by hand. The discovery left experts scratching their heads. If this really was an ancient city, it would have to be over 50,000 years old, far older than any known human civilization. Scientists wondered how these formations ended up at such a great depth. Some thought a massive natural disaster, like an earthquake or tsunami, might have caused the city to sink. Others believed it could be linked to the legend of Atlantis, the lost city said to have vanished beneath the sea. To learn more, the researchers sent underwater robots to take pictures. The images showed symmetrical structures that looked man-made, but experts weren't sure. Marine geologist Manuel Iturralde explained that no ancient culture from 50,000 years ago had the tools to build something so advanced. Meanwhile, other scientists, like Robert Ballard, warned that sonar images can be tricky. Sometimes they show patterns that only look like cities. Even today, no one knows for sure what lies beneath those Cuban waters. Was it a real city from a forgotten past, or just a natural formation? The mystery of the Cuban underwater city remains unsolved, waiting for more answers from the deep. Could there be another lost world hiding beneath the waves? That question leads us straight to one of the most exciting discoveries ever made underwater. Cleopatra's sunken palace. Off the coast of Alexandria in Egypt, there's a city under the sea. Long ago, this was where Cleopatra, the last queen of ancient Egypt, ruled from her royal palace. But in 365 CE, a huge earthquake hit the region, followed by massive waves that dragged the island of Antikythera, along with Cleopatra's palace, into the Mediterranean Sea. For centuries, it was forgotten, hidden under 16 feet of water. Then, in the 1990s, a team of archaeologists, led by Frank Goddio, found something incredible. Using special equipment, they mapped the sea floor and found what was left of Cleopatra's royal world. They discovered giant stone pillars, statues of gods and pharaohs, and even an unfinished palace that was meant for Cleopatra's famous ally and lover, Mark Antony. There was also a temple dedicated to the Egyptian goddess Isis, surrounded by granite blocks and sphinx statues. Some statues were found lying tilted on the sea floor, as if frozen in time when they fell. Alongside these, archaeologists uncovered mosaics, jewelry, and everyday items that told stories of life during Cleopatra's reign. One Roman historian described how the disaster unfolded. First, the sea pulled back, exposing the ocean floor. People rushed to pick up fish and shells left behind, but then the water came crashing back with a force so strong it destroyed everything in its path. Today, you can visit the site by diving into the waters of Alexandria. It's like stepping into history, with over 20,000 artifacts recovered so far. And one question still lingers. Could Cleopatra herself be buried somewhere in these ruins? Her story, like her palace, continues to fascinate the world. Like the Belize Blue Hole, one of the most amazing natural wonders ever discovered. The Great Blue Hole. The Belize Blue Hole is a huge underwater sinkhole off the coast of Belize. It's almost perfectly round, about 300 meters wide, and drops down 124 meters deep. It was once a dry cave system thousands of years ago, but when sea levels rose, it flooded, turning it into the deep blue hole we see today. This hole has drawn attention for years, especially when famous explorer Jacques Cousteau visited in 1971. When you dive into the blue hole, you pass through caves with giant stalactites and stalagmites that were formed when it was still dry. It's like stepping back in time to a place that has been untouched for thousands of years. The blue hole is home to sharks, including hammerhead sharks, reef sharks, and bull sharks. But what makes it even more interesting is the fossils of ancient creatures that are still preserved underwater. These fossils give us a glimpse of life on Earth, long before humans existed. The Belize Blue Hole is part of the larger Belize Barrier Reef, which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It's one of the most beautiful and unique places to visit in the world, full of marine life and ancient history hidden beneath the water. It's a reminder of how much of our planet's history is still out there, waiting to be discovered. Before we dive deeper, let's explore another marvel of the deep ocean, one that brings us face to face with the heat and life found in some of the most hostile places on Earth. The enormous hydrothermal chimneys. Imagine venturing thousands of feet below the ocean's surface, where sunlight barely trickles in, and the pressure is so intense it could crush a submarine. It's in this harsh, dark world off the coast of Ecuador, near an underwater volcano named Los Huellos East, that scientists uncovered a breathtaking discovery, a field of hydrothermal chimneys towering up to 50 feet tall. These chimneys are no ordinary underwater formations. Stretching along a 2,000-foot section of the seabed, they rise like underwater skyscrapers, emitting streams of scalding hot water from deep within the Earth's crust. To put their size in perspective, they're as tall as a 4-story building, standing boldly in the cold, dark depths of the ocean. During a 30-day expedition, researchers mapped these chimneys with high-tech instruments, revealing intricate details of the seafloor. These maps showed clusters of towering chimneys, each gushing plumes of mineral-rich water heated by magma beneath the Earth's surface. The extreme temperatures and minerals create a unique environment that's teeming with life, even in such a hostile habitat. The area is home to creatures that seem straight out of a science book. Tube worms, limpets, fish, bivalves, and crustaceans thrive here, some of them unchanged for millions of years. Scientists even discovered 15 species they didn't know lived in this region, including a small, ancient mollusk called a monoplacophoran, whose evolutionary history stretches back to prehistoric times. Nearby, researchers revisited a rare nursery for Pacific whiteskates, where millions of eggs are incubated on the warm vent floor. From towering chimneys deep in the ocean to an ancient shipwreck hiding a mysterious machine, let's uncover a story that fantastically blends science and history. The Antikythera mechanism. Back in 1901, sponge divers off the coast of Greece stumbled upon something extraordinary. As they explored a shipwreck near the island of Antikythera, they found a strange, rusted lump of bronze. At first, it looked like nothing more than scrap metal, but this small, corroded object turned out to be one of the most advanced inventions of the ancient world. the Antikythera mechanism. What made it so special? This device was basically an ancient computer built over 2,000 years ago, around 150 BCE. It wasn't powered by electricity though, it worked through a series of bronze gears. By turning a crank, people could use it to predict eclipses, track the moon's phases, and follow the movements of the sun and planets. It even tracked the timing of events like the ancient Olympic Games. Imagine being able to forecast such things long before modern technology. For decades, scientists weren't sure what it did, but in 2005, special X-rays showed the hidden details inside. It turns out the mechanism had 37 gears, including one with 223 teeth, allowing it to track the moon's odd orbit. Inscriptions revealed it could also follow Venus and Saturn's cycles, something that amazed researchers. What's even more mind-blowing? It was made over 1,000 years before anything similar appeared in Europe, but we still don't know who built it or why this knowledge disappeared. Today, the Antikythera mechanism is kept in a museum in Athens. From ancient Greek ingenuity to submerged Indian marvels, the ocean continues to guard secrets that redefine history. The Lost Pagodas of Mahabalipuram. Off the southern coast of India, near Tamil Nadu, lies Mahabalipuram, a town known for its breathtaking monuments carved from stone. But beneath the gentle waves, whispers of a lost world linger. A tale of 6 magnificent temples swallowed by the sea, leaving behind only the famous shore temple. For centuries, locals shared stories about the 7 pagodas. They believed that 6 temples, just as intricate and grand as the shore temple, once stood in a line along the coast. The temples were said to be so beautiful that they angered Indra, the god of rain and storms. According to legend, he sent a great flood to sink them, sparing only one. Skeptics dismissed these tales as folklore until something remarkable happened in 2004. During the devastating Indian Ocean tsunami, the sea briefly pulled back hundreds of meters, exposing a mysterious sight: a straight row of massive stone structures on the seabed. Witnesses reported seeing carvings and sculptures that matched the Pallava style, dating back to the 7th century. When the waves returned, they uncovered even more treasures: a carved lion, an unfinished elephant relief, and remnants of ancient walls. These discoveries fueled efforts to uncover the truth. Archaeologists, aided by underwater drones, have since identified 5 submerged sites. About 700 meters from the shore temple lies a large granite platform, its foundation still intact. Measurements suggest it was part of a complex that once featured smaller buildings. Coins and carvings hint that these ruins belonged to the Pallava dynasty, a time of flourishing art and architecture in South India. Could a tsunami, an earthquake, or gradual land subsidence have caused their disappearance? While the exact reason remains uncertain, one thing is clear: Mahabalipuram's underwater ruins offer a glimpse into a lost civilization, waiting to share its story with the world. We now shift to another treasure lost to the sea. This time, a shipwreck that has captured imaginations for centuries. The San Jose Treasure. In 1708, a ship called the San Jose sank off the coast of Colombia. It wasn't just any ship, it was a Spanish galleon, a huge wooden vessel designed for war and trade. But this wasn't the kind of shipwreck you might expect to find. The San Jose was carrying gold, silver, and emeralds from South America back to Spain, a treasure now estimated to be worth nearly $20 billion. That's why people call it the Holy Grail of shipwrecks. The ship's journey was doomed during a naval battle between Spain and Britain. British warships attacked the Spanish fleet near Cartagena. In the chaos, the San Jose's gunpowder stores exploded, tearing the ship apart and sending it to the bottom of the sea. Out of the 600 people aboard, only 11 survived. For over 300 years, the ship and its cargo rested undisturbed beneath the waves. But the discovery of the wreck in 2015 brought new attention to its treasure and a storm of legal battles. The Colombian government claims the shipwreck as part of its cultural heritage. Spain argues it has historical rights to the galleon, while an American company insists it found the wreck in the 1980s and deserves credit. Today, modern technology is being used to uncover the secrets of the San Jose. Robots dive 2,000 feet to the ocean floor, capturing images of coins, pottery, and gold bars. As Colombia plans an official recovery effort, historians hope these artifacts will reveal not just riches, but stories of the people who sailed and perished on this legendary ship. Who will ultimately claim the treasure? That remains to be seen. And that's all for today. Thanks for watching.